So, Jay, you've been telling us about the middle class disappearing for a while now.
Mhm.
Can you identify the middle class for us first and just explain what do you mean when you said that it's disappearing?
So, according to Pew Research, middle class is considered those making around 45,000 to 135,000.
Okay.
Others consider middle class as being those making up to 200,000. So, what's been going on with the middle class is that their wealth has been deteriorating, and it's been happening due to record highs in individual income taxes. You got record highs ATM fees.
Mm.
You have record highs household debt, record high tuition, record highs healthcare. Everything is starting to be taxed. So what that's doing, and then you also got stagnant wages too. I mean, wages haven't purchasing power for wages haven't increased since 1978. So
Mm.
this is putting these people in their money as disadvantage as far as
Got
their
it.
wealth is concerned. So you have like student debt is 1.7 trillion, and then 30% of student loan debt have 30% delinquencies. You have record high family health care costs, where family health care costs is $20,000 now. Then you also have inflation as far as food is concerned. We were just saying pork hit record highs, beef hit
Yes,
record highs,
beef.
eggs.
Yep.
So all these type of things, including the inflated dollar, is affecting the middle class income.
Got
And
it.
what that does is put them in a lower income bracket. So around 50% of Americans make less than 31,000 net income after they've paid their taxes and everything.
Wow.
So this is how the middle class is deteriorating. You also have fertility rate. In 2018, the fertility rate hit a record low. And that's because nobody wants to have a baby at times like this. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You want to bring a baby in the
absolutely.
world where you can financially, take care of that baby, not have any type of issues like we got going on now, the
Right, I
pandemic, the
agree.
lockdown.
Yes.
So all these things right here are affecting the middle class. That's it. And actually, fertility rate is a telltale sign of your economy and how it's doing. So that's another sign how you know the economy is not doing well like they say it is. Then you also have the majority of Americans, they got record high in credit card debt. You know what I mean? You also have a savings plan issue. Like we don't have any Social Security to draw from. You know what I mean? So Social Security is on track to go bankrupt in 2034.
Mm.
So they've also stated that 50% of Americans have already tapped into their
Just
retirement plan.
yes.
I mean, because it's rough right now.
Especially with the
People,
pandemic and everything that's
yeah,
going on.
yeah. So people have and this was before the pandemic, Amber. So you
Okay.
can imagine who's been tapping into it now.
Got it.
So all these things go against the actual makeup of the middle class. And what's happening is they're losing wealth. You know what I mean? Like even wages have been the same for the last decade. You know what I mean? They haven't even increased the minimum wage. So how can you not increase the minimum wage and still be in the same position you were 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work like that. You know
Right.
what I mean? So all these things collectively coming together goes against the middle class and it's making them disappear. We're reaching a point to where either you're going to have it or you're not going to have it. And that's what we have to know as far as the middle class is concerned.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Okay. What's the outcome of this? Like with the middle class disappearing, what will be the outcome?
So if
do
you
you
don't
foresee?
do anything, like right now we're in the middle of a wealth transfer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't do anything, you're gonna be left with nothing. You know what I mean? I was talking to my homegirl one day and she was like, well, Jay, you said, you gotta go to the city, you'll eventually be wealthy, you'll be rich, but I don't really want to be rich.
Okay.
I said, well, you're not gonna have anything.
Right.
Because right now you have to put your money into things that's gonna hold value. The dollar is no longer gonna hold any value. Savers are currently losers. And that's what the middle class have to understand. You have to put your money in something else, like hard assets that's going to help sustain your wealth and help you to be able to eat in the near future.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you can see with all this cash printing out, they're basically showing their face cards on how money is really not worth anything. It costs around 20 cents to make a $100 bill.
Got you.
So what we have to do is understand that our wealth is in trouble, and we can have a lot more if we educate ourselves on this topic and we actually put our money into something that's going to hold its value.
Absolutely, I agree. So, like, just to mention, like, big cities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's another thing. In Chicago, during the 1970s, Chicago middle class accounted for 50% of their population. Right now, it accounts for 16%. So it's happening on a global level. It's not just happening in Chicago. This is happening all around the world. I'm just using them as an example.
Got it.
But it just goes to show how people's wealth is deteriorating. And that's what I mean when I say the middle class is disappearing. They no longer have that wealth status that they had once before.
Right. How can we change this, like, as a whole?
So, I mean, we're going to have to educate ourselves. Like, a lot of taboo that we have in our family, like we don't talk about finances. We don't talk about bills. We don't talk about mistakes we made.
Or your status.
Yeah.
Like, being middle class. People don't like to talk about money.
Yeah. And some people, I mean, they just got to be real with themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you don't plan, you plan for failure.
Got it.
And that's what the whole point of this story is. Like, we have to understand where we're at in order to put ourselves in a better position.
Correct.
We need to be proactive instead of reactive. Because what's happening is, I wonder if opportunity for transferring our wealth is diminishing. The rich people, if they don't transfer their wealth into some hard assets, then they're going to lose all their wealth as well. So it's not just applying to us, it's applying to everybody. But they kind of know as far as what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we have to be aware of this. Because as far as Americans, we account for 50% of the population, the middle class.
Got it.
So you got to realize that's why the economic standpoint is where it's at. Because when middle class hurt, so does the whole world.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, so pretty much you're saying, with the middle class disappearing, you're either going to be, rich or poor.
Yeah, it's not going to be any more middle class. Like I said, you're either going to have it or you're not going to have it. We are in the midst of a wealth transfer.
Got it.
And when I mean wealth transfer, I mean we're leaving something that's worthless and we're going to go to something that has value.
Right.
So we have to put ourselves in position. If not, we're going to lose everything.
Got it. Yeah. What does the average American need to know about what's going on?
They need to really understand that savers are losers. You know what I mean? They can't save within the U.S. dollar. Just off the interest rates with the Federal Reserve Bank alone, they've said, this analyst from Wells Fargo said that 500 to 600 billion have been lost just due to them changing interest rates from money market funds and from actual, savings accounts, just for them diminishing the interest rates. Because now interest rates is nothing. You're not making anything off your cash in the banks anymore. So the times are changing. That's why it's very important that we keep up with the times as far as what's going on with this money. Because this monetary system is crashing right before us.
Right.
We're now watching the demise of a once great U.S. empire. It's diminishing right in front of us.
Got it. I just wanted to ask, why do you think people protect their status? Why? I mean, what's the reason for that?
Well, some people just don't like being real with themselves. Okay. And that's why I like this time too, Amber, because now it's forcing people to have to figure out who they are and what they're doing. Gotcha. You know what I mean? They really have to sit down and think. And some people is driving them crazy. Yeah. But I think we all needed this self-time.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
Every dog has their day. And, I think right now, capitalism is crashing and we're getting to know who we are and we're digging deep trying to find out what our purpose is.
Right. Yes, sir. I mean? So, Jay, have you had any update on the housing market as far as the mortgages are concerned?
Yeah, so actually this week, you got 4 million Americans not paying their mortgages.
Okay.
So this just shows me like, hey, hopefully it works where it goes on the back end of their loan, right? Opposed to having to double up. I was talking to one of my buddies and he was saying like his company actually is putting it on the back end of their loans and not heavy loading them at the 12 months is up.
Gotcha.
So hopefully they don't have to pay their mortgage and the one they missed out on, on top of each other. Because I think this is a formula for disaster.
Gotcha.
But what they need to do, Amber, is opportunity time for them.
Absolutely.
They have this money now, this cash now that they can take and utilize as far as buying hard assets with it.
Right.
Money they wasn't even counting on. And that's what they need to do. They need to be proactive and not reactive.
Got it.
You know what I mean? And that's a great opportunity for them.
Mm-hmm. And then, they're opening up all these businesses now. The economy is opening up.
I was listening on the radio today how they were getting mad. They was having a discussion about, people not wanting to go back to work, like at restaurants and service level jobs because they're making more money at home than they're making when they go to work.
Got it.
It's not, whose fault is that? I think it's the government's fault. It's like, why would you give these people this money who was making X amount of dollars? It should have been different type of brackets.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
I agree.
And I don't look at these guys any different because it's common sense. I would do the same thing. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't want to make more money doing nothing than doing something for less? It doesn't make any sense. I think every dog has their day, and I think capitalism is having their worst days ever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now you got workers now having opportunities to take advantage of it. So I don't think it's their issue. I think that's the government issue. And as far as them putting the package together, I think it was done sloppy, and now you're seeing the results of it.
Yeah, backlash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the transition is going to be a little difficult. Overall, but y'all continue to tune in. Amber Hurley, Organic Money.
Peace.